Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Game 1 is ready, so let's find out what classes these guys are playing. It's Warrior versus the Zoo. So it's going to be a little tough for RDU, but, you know, if you have things like Fiery War Axe, you can kind of control the damage early on, and you have Cool Task, and you have Acolyte.
This is a really strong opening hand. I can't imagine rolling into any of these cards. Now, here's something.
Like
here's something that's really interesting. It's if Gnimsh is going to keep this Iron Beak Owl or not, and this is a double-edged sword because you get to keep your opponent from drawing cards from Acolyte, or to keep your opponent from gaining a ton of armor from Armorsmith. But it's also very vulnerable to a card like Whirlwind. So if you're going to keep Iron Beak Owl, it's a lot harder to keep Abusive Sergeant. So
it is cool that Iron Beak Owl is being teched into here though from Gnimsh. So
yeah,
I will cycle it out.
There's two reasons I think that Iron Beak Owl is being played so much lately, and one of the reasons is Nerubian Egg, of course. You really don't want your opponent to get a 4/4. And the second one is if you play against a Druid, which in this format it's not unlikely to see.
That's an exaggeration, or that's an under-exaggeration.
If your opponent has something like Ancient Watcher, Iron Beak Owl can force through at least 5 points of damage.
Sure. All right, well, let's see what Gnimsh is going to start off here. He has two options here to push out the spiders, or to just go for this basic 1-drop and see what he can do.
I like the Argent Squire into just like taking it slow. I don't feel a really big need to rush in this matchup.
Yeah, I like having the coin for versatility of dropping more minions or even playing ahead of the curve.
Right.
But to have it for a 1 damage creature, I don't know if it's actually worth it. So I like the Argent Squire. And it functions the same way too, right? You can still coin out the Abusive Sergeant if you need to trade for something the following turn.
Here's where I'm at. Say you play turn 1 Squire and you play turn 2 Haunted Creeper. If you draw something like another 2-drop, you can get a life tap in as well as play the 2-drop. Or if you draw something like Defender of Argus, you can go Squire into the Haunted Creeper into Defender of Argus, which can potentially be a really strong play. Black Knight, and here's another thing too. If he's got Black Knight in his deck, I would think you would want to save the coin even more. Not that it matters a lot in this matchup, but just the idea that you could play this as a 4/5, which you're almost always going to do in this matchup. It gets out of turn earlier. And it also gives you some fodder to discard if you have something like a Soulfire. So I'm not going to say that it's a horrible play, but I very much disagree with the way he's used coin here. I wouldn't have done this at all.
Yeah, especially now that there's an Acolyte out.
Right.
It's going to be really easy for RDU to draw a lot of cards and kind of get ahead of Zoo with answers.
This is one of those spots we were talking about, by the way, where Warrior can really chew these decks apart, is if it gets these kinds of curves. It's so hard to beat Warrior when it's tailored to its own game plan. Then that's like the major strength of this deck, because once it starts scaling into the mid game, it's going to have stuff like Shield Block into Shield Slam. It starts dropping these powerful late game legendaries, and your whole game plan gets picked apart by cards like this.
He also got an Armorsmith, which is really nice too.
This is going to be a really tough game for Gnimsh to win. I don't even know if he can.
Just like that, you feel like it's been decided. You know, one thing that can turn the tides is just these weird tech cards that Gnimsh has, like the Shadow Flame, and things like Power Overwhelming. So if he can kind of piece it together, maybe he could. But does that give Warrior enough time that he feels comfortable being able to be in that spot anyways, because he has late game legendaries to just force it down to your opponent?
It's going to be tough to say. Shadow Flame, this is certainly not the matchup with Shadow Flame shining, but now he's got his 2-part
Power
combo.
Overwhelming. Okay.
How early are you willing to use this, though? I mean, obviously this is a board you'd love to use it on, but your opponent's about to get so much value from all this stuff that it's like, where do you go? I think you have to Iron Beak this Acolyte. You cannot let your opponent just keep drawing cards. You just need to hope that his hand stays heavy. Like maybe he's drawn his 8 and 9 drops, and he's just not able to do anything for a bunch of turns. I think that's where you have to be as far as this is concerned.
Do you give him the armor, or do you just tack straight into face?
I think you just go straight for the face. I think the thing you're lacking in this game is the ability to deal damage. You don't have any favorable trades at the moment.
And your hand is looking pretty situational, which would also make it even more devastating if he gets something into like Doomguard.
Oh my gosh.
Where he has to kind of make sacrifices. Whirlwind off the top. That is really nice.
Okay, so here's what he's thinking about. He's thinking about using the Cruel Taskmaster, which will be lost to it, or he's thinking about using the Armorsmith. And I like this play better. It gives him a little bit more armor. His Acolyte's basically worthless at this point. So this sweeps out the board, gives him an extra point on armor, and he actually gets to keep a 2-power minion, which makes a big difference in this matchup against things like
against
Knife
the
Juggler,
Flame Imps.
or against Shattered Sun Cleric, or against Flame Imp.
Well, Dark Iron Dwarf, not exactly what Gnimsh wants either. He's playing this so slow as a result, even though despite him being on the coin, that's usually the way that Zoo can be the most explosive, right? If you're on the coin, you can get 2 1-drops out, then your opponent can only respond 1 at a time, and then you start building and stacking your advantage.
Yeah, even though
Gnimsh has been playing behind.
Even though he has the egg here, I'd like to see the Harvest Golem. I think the Harvest Golem is just a better minion.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to activate egg, though, so that's something to keep in mind. Like,
It does.
You have to play egg, you have to invest into it to kill it, and then you have to wait a turn to attack.
He also has the Dark Iron Dwarf as well, so he has ways to kind of buff it. And in fact, next turn, oh my goodness, next turn he can power overwhelming and clear by doing this.
I like
just attack and clear.
I like RDU's line of thought here too. He just wants to play the Black Knight. But armoring up is really good as well because he's up to 31 life already.
I think because you know your opponent has things like Defender of Argus as well. And it's very clear that your opponent's playing super slow. I don't think he feels super pressured to get ahead of things. And he also has Gore Howl, so he can kind of start using his health to trade down whenever big comes out.
Yeah, I still would like to see the Black Knight there. Like, I think you can just pressure your opponent out of the game. Do you really need that much more value? Like, you already have Alexstrasza. You have Gore Howl. You have pieces of removal spells.
Like, Gore Howl plus Alex combo already is just so devastating, right? You can just trade as much as you want and then bounce back up to 15, and how is Zoo going to be able to do that?
Right. And the other time, in the same light, it's like the Alexstrasza on your opponent is almost never going to get used because they're going to be floating around the 15 life mark anyway. So I think just getting the Black Knight down presents a bit more value.
Looks like he's going to Dark Iron Dwarf and trade. Well, not even really trade. Kill off this Armor Smith. But that Armor Smith has been great, let me tell you.
That egg now is actually...
Like 8 armor.
It's presenting a little bit of a problem because it's really shutting down Whirlwind. But it's like, that's not that big of a deal because RDU's already scaling into his late game. And look at this, he's at 28 life, he's got a Gore Howl on the board, and Gnimsh has no pressure.
Gnimsh has more cards than the Warrior player. What kind of game is this, right?
This is a Warlock game. Very standard Warlock game.
Handlock, right?
Good old
Sylvanas
Warlock
comes out now.
What a game-breaking ability, by the way. Like, how tough is it to build decks when you know that you have to build around a guy who can just draw 2 cards in turn?
Why do you fall?
Gnimsh drops pretty much everything that's the rest of his droppable minions.
Yep. This power overwhelming is actually going to potentially get some good work done.
Yeah.
And now Black Knight's gotten 3 damage value.
Ah, well, it's kind of like a Fire Elemental. For 6 mana, so not bad.
Oh, this is interesting.
I guess he wants in the Ruby and Egg now. He's hoping that his opponent doesn't have a way to deal with this 1/3 and shoot through it, and then he can find a way to get some damage earlier in.
Yeah, you gotta go for the face here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, it doesn't.
How valuable is that 2/1? That's what I want to know. I don't know if I like that.
If he has Whirlwind, then he has a way to kind of push through it anyways, right, with 2 damage. Black Knight does come out here, and he's able to kill off the Nerubian.
Wow.
And imagine him having 1 armor instead.
This board has just been ripped apart. How do you recover from this in Gnimsh's position? Like, what do you want to draw here if you're Gnimsh? Just Doomguard?
Why not his Sylvanas?
Oh, I
Right?
forgot he has Sylvanas in here.
He has a Sylvanas, so why not, if he draws it, play it? In fact, it seems like he might, well, this might be the time where you kind of Black Knight because you don't have anything else, but it's also 5 attack on the Gore Howl, so you feel like it's just going to die anyways.
Right.
So you might just tap and see what you get, alternatively.
Just keep churning out threats.
Mm-hmm.
And hope that it works. Honestly, I think one of his actual ways to win might just be to hope his opponent has something like Defender of Argus. And say Black Knight.
I don't think he's going to go for that route. The Black Knight comes down now. He's going to Soulfire. And he dumps the Flame Imp, which kind of has been will be working against him anyways, because now that we're getting to the late stages of the game, you're always kind of in the back of your mind wondering if your opponent has the Grommash for the finish. And so Flame Imp actually puts you within that range much closer.
Yep. And that's a dead draw.
Every single
It's
turn.
just a 4-2 as far as that's concerned.
That's what
Oh
you think.
my
Until
gosh.
Gnimsh plays Deathwing.
That shield slam is so important right now. Wait. He can whirlwind, take out the Black Knight, and then shield slam the 4/4.
Yeah, you're right.
This
But
is
I think he's
also-
taking the slow approach because there's no need to activate that egg unnecessarily.
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah. And plus you do damage to your own Drake. So if your opponent had like Hellfire, which is a card that some Zoo players are running, you don't want to do your opponent any favors.
The light protects me.
Why do you fall?
And it looks like Gnimsh is starting to really just, again, run out of ability. Like, the Zoo, these are some of the most pitiful weak creatures in the late game that you'll ever see. They all have one attack. They all are not very imposing. And sure, they kind of are an irritation at best. But that's about it.
I don't think there's any way Gnimsh is
Wow.
gonna climb out of this game. This game has gotten out of control about as quickly as you can imagine.
Yeah. I think so. I think now you can Whirlwind and do the Shield Slam play.
It's very peculiar to me. I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. He's got
Sure.
33 life. He's more than willing to pay portions of that to develop his board.
You definitely can afford to be a little inefficient.
These 1/1s aren't even a threat right now because your opponent's at 9 life and you have 30, and they don't have any cards left.
Wait, what?
Elite Tauren Chief Gnimsh has got to be. Gnimsh has got to
I
be
am
the
so
coolest card
confused. RDU. Oh, wait, he has Power of the Horde. Is it going to be like a Cairn?
He's got
Or is it going to be like a Thrallmaw for Arxir? Oh,
That's
he's gonna
the
Shadow
only way to win is with Shadow Flame.
Yeah. I have no words for that, but you know what? It's Gnimsh, and he likes that card. And you know what? He even smashed the end turn button so much it went deep into the board. So not his game. my
Oh,
brother.
jeez, he can wait no longer. That's gonna be a quick game 1 to RDU and Warrior. This is the power of this deck, man. Is if it gets rolling, it is tough to stop. I mean, there's just when Warrior gets those kind of draws, there's nothing. And it did not work out very well.
It's cool. It's a new deck, and I want to see the full list. But at the same time, I keep getting surprised every time I see it. We're going into game number 2 though, because Gnimsh has chosen his deck already.
Yep.
I'm assuming it would have to be like the Druid, because the Druid is pretty good against Warrior, but depends on how he shot
I
it.
was gonna say I go Shaman here for sure.
Oh, really?
His Druid deck is a token Druid.
Oh, you're right. I forgot. I thought it was just a traditional
bit.
mid-range Druid.
A little bit of a worse matchup.
Mm-hmm.
A pretty good hand here from Gnimsh, though. Wow, especially when he picks up Unbound Elemental.
Okay. With, but he's not on the coin, which would have been much better if he had the Feral Spirits with
Right.
the Unbound. Okay, but you know, RDU does have the Fiery War Axe, which is a really important card for the Feral Spirits. Allows you to go 1-for-1 pretty efficiently without you losing too much.
Hello there, everyone. Totem. My name's Armorsmith.
I will be your server for today. Hey, I'm just trying to follow your line, man. Helping you out here.
Hey, I like it.
There you go.
Bravo.
Okay, so again, this Unbound doesn't even feel really safe too, because then what if he has a Fiery War Axe immediately and then just takes it out?
What to do?
I think it's a risk you have to take, though. Like, what else are you just gonna not develop?
No, I mean Totem is also just as bad, if not worse.
I think toteming is fine, but like you have to get some sort of pressure built. I don't think that hexing is ever proper here.
There's just too many threats in a warrior deck to ever value
Right.
hexing this early.
Yeah, I agree. Like he's got like 4
And-
big minions, so you have like enough removal spells to kill his big minions. So
Yeah.
the rest of the game is just a battle to see who can get the last minion before the giant minions get played.
Mhm.
And the shaman's perspective is that they want to hex the big minions. So actually, I was about to say this. I don't mind Feral Spiriting here. The only time this ever sucks is when your opponent has Fiery War Axe. But Unbound Elemental
Yep.
sucks when he has Fiery War Axe too. So this is just, it's one of those spots where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Pick your poison.
Yep. This also forces through a bit more damage, I think, in the long run, because your opponent can't just attack your 1/1 totem now. So he's hoping to make like a taunt totem here, and that'll keep his 1/1 around as long as it possibly can.
Yeah, I think so. And at least try to get mileage directly off of it, because The nice thing about Fiery War Axe is because it goes 1 for 1, but you also get the 2-mana tempo swing in your favor because you're able to kind of use it efficiently over the course of 2 turns without charging you. Versus the Overload does kind of be annoying for the Shaman.
This is
He's training a Rock Biter.
That's a unique play.
Huh,
I mean, I guess
okay.
you're gonna have to deal with this Armor Smith one way or another.
Yeah.
It's like he wants to play Azure Drake next turn, so I think he's trying to. I don't know. That's sort of weird. I like it, but it's like it's not a very strong play, if that makes sense.
Well,
It's just
the
like
Rock
what else
Biter,
is he gonna do? The Rock Biter pushes through damage in the end game, which is kind of important. But with Gadget's and Auctioneer in your hand, and with the Hex, it looks like this is going to be a more card advantage battle than it is going to be like a push for the last points of damage.
Oh yeah, he has the Argent Commander here too. The perfect response.
It draws the
Now,
card
Gnimsh-
too, but the card it draws is a 4/2 onto the board.
That's true. It's like a BGH that draws a card and kills an Azure Drake.
And now this spot's not very appealing. He's wishing he had that Rock Fighter now.
Do you like Gadget Stand and Shamans? I see people kind of put it in and then take it out, and they put it in again and then they take it out.
I'm always torn
like-
on it. Like
They always
sometimes,
like swap the mana tide or like put it in. I don't know. What do you think?
sometimes it's just an all-star, and then sometimes you're like, why is this
Right.
in my deck? But that's the nature of cards, is that these differences in opinions are what builds a format.
Sure. That's why I mean I was curious whether or not you personally like a Gadget Stand. I know like Savage for a while liked having Gadget Stand, but he also was toying around with other cards like Pyromancer because there's a lot of spells and at the time you needed clears.
Yeah. Pyromancer is really
Alright, well,
there's a lot of Zip.
Okay, so again, the Feral Spirits die pretty quickly, but at least the Unbound got buffed here. And that gives an opportunity for Gnimsh to maybe follow up on this play.
Yeah, this is one of those tough spots again. I think here, it's like, it's really hard to not clear the Acolyte of Pain. I think you want to totem first, though.
Mm-hmm. I think so. You don't want to give this Acolyte any way to kind of get buffed with something like a Cool Taskmaster or a Whirlwind.
Ideally,
again. Oh, what's up?
Ideally, he wants to make Healing Totem here. I don't think it matters. Like, the totem he rolls, I don't think he can ever change his attack.
I think Taunt Totem's okay as well.
Wow, that is a very strange play. I don't like that.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, it's the idea that he wants to really control the board and take it away from the Warrior. Warrior really excels when they can really efficiently clear Shaman every single time and stall later stages in the game.
Oh, that's brutal.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow.
This is one of the reasons why you don't use Hex, by the way, is because when Warrior starts getting into turn 6, 7, 8, is when it can potentially play its power drops. And you've protected your Unbound Elemental for a turn now, but at what cost?
Well,
you know, it's
the
actually
cost of being able to easily remove.
it's kind of funny that he drew the second spider here, because now the Defender of Argus on the spiders is actually a pretty efficient way to deal with Karen.
Yeah. Makes him fight through it the hard way.
I don't like this.
Yeah, I think getting the Defender on both of those and then rolling a totem to see what you get, maybe even the Healing Totem, which is nice. So that way you can heal up the Unbound. And then the following turn, you have ridiculous ways to trade efficiently with Flame Tongue Totems.
Yep. This is by far his play he should have made. This is the perfect point he should have gotten to.
There we go. And that's a pretty intimidating board for the Warrior to deal with. Gorehowl draw. Let's see, how can RDU do this? He's going to lead off with Shield Block, and I can utilize the Shield Slam directly on the Unbound.
Yeah, the Unbound is the biggest threat here.
Well, I mean, either one, he's just drawing to see what he gets first.
For honor.
Okay, you can try to clear the spiders with the Whirlwind as well.
Does he want to play this Armor Smith first?
For honor.
I don't think so.
Ooh,
Armor Smith's under such a big threat right now.
Well, it does give you that extra armor, but I don't know if that'll be the one that actually matters.
Oh, this is a big
Wow.
one.
That is a big Whirlwind. Oh my goodness.
If he plays the Armor Smith here, he's lost a point of armor. Yep.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Unfortunate.
Yes. But, you know, he's gained 3 back, so at least he's still got some life.
It kind of ends up in the same way, because he gets a shield slam anyway. But, I mean, losing a point of armor is... He could have just gotten a point of armor, so...
Sure, it's just...
slight sequencing error.
Yeah. Okay, so Gnimsh gets another Unbound, but a little bit on the user side. Plus, this Karen is still very imposing. Not to mention that every time you're trying to trade, you're still going to have to deal with that armor smith. And you know, I heard Gadget Xander's a broken card in the game, but when there's no spells, it turns out it's pretty balanced.
Yeah, that's sort of where that card's fallen short.
So I found out how Innervate and Gadget Xander are actually fair in this game today. Admirable, funny story.
In case you don't have any spells.
Hmm.
You know, a good way to get spells is to just put a lot of spells in your deck.
Oh, okay, that's how you do it. You know what? I was missing a very important fundamental part of my deck.
I only put in minions!
Oh.
This is a really weird flame tongue over just the regular totem. I don't understand this at all.
You know, the Flame Tongue is great for surprising and trading.
Oh, he wants to clear out the Cairn. Oh, that's...
Okay.
I guess.
All right, well then force him to make a really difficult choice.
Because now the Cairn's going to have a lot of damage put onto it. This is still sort of weird, though, because now the Defender of Argus gets picked off by the 2-1.
Right.
I don't know.
And then
I
he
like
used the
this.
Gore Howl.
Oh,
He put the free Flame Tongue. I think Gnimsh has outvalued himself.
Yeah, this is
Oh, RDU.
Oh,
Confidence
jeez.
building. The rivalry is heating up. You know. Oh man!
Oh, that's
wow,
a-
we're shocked. Way
he
too
has to
late,
cycle though. He needs to start drawing.
Yeah. The Miracle Shaman is real.
He's out of Feral Spirits too, so that's like Gadgetzan Auctioneer and the Feral Spirits like one of your strongest Gadgetzan plays, and the fact that he burned both of them early, like really puts a damper in it. Ooh, Lightning Storm's not too bad. Let's draw another card.
He's in the trade, but then the Gore Howl will be able to kill off the Gadgetzan anyways, and he's gonna be playing off the top of his deck.
Warhal is really pulling the weight in this game because everything's been traded down so efficiently.
Yeah. And the only way you can kind of stave off of that is if you keep rolling taunt totems. That is every Gore Howl player's nightmare.
So now if you're
Constant
RDU,
stream with taunt totems.
you just well now you draw Ragnaros.
Just rag.
Well now you draw
Rag
Ragnaros.
attack.
You never use the Grommash here. But let's say he drew Whirlwind. Do you use the Grommash?
Oh, I don't think so. Unless you had to execute to follow it up with it. But
Well,
even so, I think this rag is way too good to pass up.
Yeah, by fire, Gnimsh is likely going to be purged. Every single one of these totems is going to be chewed through by these Gore Howl swings, and that's going to be effective 8 damage after 8 damage, because they're never going to hit a totem after that.
Huh. Well, look how that managed, where the lightning bolt came out
That's
really
their
late.
power, so he can't clear the Ragnaros at all. This is really bad news if you're Gnimsh.
What the heck do you even do? You just pass. There's really nothing you can do. You're just
I think you scoop him up and go to the next game.
yeah.
That's what I think.
Figure what you just basically make a game plan for your druid. Like at this point, Gnimsh is probably just thinking about what he can do from this point on. And also, the longer you drag out of the game, the more you might see cards that maybe your opponent's playing unconventionally.
Wow.
So I don't actually agree with conceding too early. Maybe in the 1 or 2 turns, you might see a card or two that
Sure.
surprise. You never know.
I can always
Right.
get behind the more information plays.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's my justification for why Gnimsh is still in the game. Now, how do you exit? I think you Rock Fighter into the Ragnaros and Lightning Bolt yourself.
Lightning Storm. Let's activate that Grommash for you.
There you go.
Oh, get him,
he does
Rag.
Get him, Rag. There you
Get
go.
him! Get him, Thrall! Punish
Oh.
him! Hey, he's
All
cleared
right.
it out. Look at that.
Now, this is how you do it. You shield block and BGH your own Gromosh. You don't even need him. Oh, come on. Come on, RDU.
Execute your
I
own
am not
Grommash!
entertained.
On top for a while. Thank you,
Yep.
Cats.
Thanks, and you're welcome, Kate Gats, for the shout out. Let's go to game number 3 and see if RDU can sweep Gnimsh to wrap up the day, or will Gnimsh be able to 3-0 in return? Now, he does have the Yeti. He's missing just one card to kind of make this a nightmare game for RDU.
Ooh, Karen's a really good draw.
That is true.
This is a matchup where sort of like Druid can have 2 different game plans. And the first one, of course, is you can just apply a lot of pressure and go from there.
Oh, my
jeez.
goodness.
You hold this
There
for
we
turn 3
go.
Karen. You hold this for turn 3 Karen, for sure. You want to go turn 3 Karen and turn 4 Chill and Yeti. And that is extremely difficult for Warriors to come back from.
Yeah, I kind of have to imagine, because even if they have the executes, they have to have a very specific line of play, but it almost does feel a little bit too good to pass up, though. If this is the token druid that Gnimsh has, right, then the idea is to kind of put pressure. But he does have Karen and Yeti, which implies it's not really the token, although it still could have Violet Teacher's Ed.
He's going for the aggressive play.
Okay.
This is a different route than I would have taken, but if your opponent doesn't have an execute for this, or they don't have a shield block shield summon for, this is going to get in a lot of damage. So I'm okay with this play, but I would have gone with Karen instead. I think Karen presents a longer, beneficial game plan.
Yeah.
I think this is just it feels like it's oversighted. Like I feel like he's underestimating how powerful Karen is in this matchup. But at the same time, I could just be underestimating how powerful Turn 1 Yeti is. Because this guy's doing a lot of damage.
If he racks in 12 damage, his job's done. Right? The 4 mana or the 6 mana that you expanded over the course of
I think
everything else.
Anytime a card gets in 12 damage, it's doing a pretty good job.
Ooh, he didn't get to execute. He got a shield slam, so he has a way to deal with it next turn. And you know what? This Yeti already has kind of done work, squeezing in 8 damage.
Yep. So now Innervate and Yeti have both accounted for 4 points of damage.
Mm-hmm. Which I think you kind of have to be happy with that, given the state of things. All right, let's see what RDU's be able to get. A second shield slam, so that's going to be useful.
That second shield slam is really important too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. If his opponent has another Yeti here, he can just cleanly take it out. This is going to be really tough to not keep rid of the face for 2. It feels really weird. But this is, you need a body on the board, but this is also going to start chipping away at his armor to help keep your Karen safe from a future shield slam.
Yeah. Especially in the upcoming turns where Warrior wants to stabilize, and it's very clear that he doesn't have a lot of early minions that he's just been kind of responding to. He hasn't had been his response to the Yeti.
Oh my gosh. So, RDU drew this manipulator, by the way. And if there's an answer to Karen, that's probably one of them.
That is very true. Okay. BGH, that's a good card in Gnimsh's arsenal to have for the response of whatever RDU throws down.
Oh my gosh, Drew top decks.
Oh man, already the chatter has begun once again.
Victory or death indeed. Wow,
right.
That is a really interesting play, and the reason he's doing that is because he anticipates playing Gorehowl next turn. So this is actually a spot where if Gnimsh thinks deep enough, he can figure out that he has Gorehowl in his hand. Not that it's too relevant to how he's going to end up playing this game. It's pretty much going to be played the same almost no matter what.
Yeah.
I like clearing here first.
Yep.
But it's very, very clear that your opponent has something like Gorehowl in there. There's just no other reason to attack. Gorehowl or a second party War Axe.
So then by that measure, do you wait out for this value, or do you still play the Karen?
I mean, I imagine you got to play the Karen. Even if he attacks the Karen twice, Karen's getting in 8 to 12 points of damage.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I slam Karen here every time. Is RDU going to play Big Game Hunter? I'm sorry, is he going to play Ragnaros? If he plays Ragnaros, this game could really turn around.
Huh. Yeah, I think so. Oh, I mean, he also has his own Karen, too. I don't see why not.
Wow, he's taking a lot of damage from this.
And if his opponent had an Innervate combo, the game's actually over. Right?
Yeah.
He has the Innervate. Whoa, Mark of the Wild, Faceless, and Black Knight. Wait. No, he can't do everything. But, you get so giddy when you see all those things. Oh, my goodness. He has so many answers to threats with BGH, Faceless.
You Faceless his Karen every single time.
Yeah.
This is just too much consistent damage coming out. I don't think you mark here either. It feels purposeless to mark.
No, you have Mark and BGH. There's no way that you want to give up that combo as a way to respond to something.
The Mark and the Black Knight, too. You have both combos. Do you Innervate out charge here? I actually think you Innervate a charge.
What other use are you going to have for Innervate on turn 9? Nah, I don't see anything else unless you want to Innervate out Mark of the Wild, BGH. No, yeah, I think you could. You can make a justification for it.
I think you just charge there. I guess the one thing he doesn't want his opponent to do is place Alex Strauss on himself, but it doesn't even matter. You have 8 points of damage still swinging back at him.
You could also not want to overextend to Brawl, because if whatever survives, the Gorehowl can finish it off, right?
I think I'm okay with that.
What now?
I think at the same time he doesn't want to play it because the charge also gives versatility to the Savage Roar because he doesn't have the combo in itself. So when you have at least one piece, he still has a way to finish it.
Wow, look at how much damage he's gonna have to take.
Whoa. Okay.
So he's gonna clear the board here. Yeah, I think he's really regretting not playing this charge druid, honestly.
Okay, well let's see what Gnimsh is being able to get here.
13 life. Harvest Golem. Not the worst draw. He's going to consider using Mark and Black Knight this turn, I think.
Yeah,
I think just charge
well.
the Harvest Golem.
Charge and play the Harvest Golem.
I think
Yeah,
he's
we'll
getting there.
I
Yep.
like Mark. I like Mark and Black Knight. Wait, how much attack is on the Gorehound now? Is it 5? I think it's 5.
Is it 5 or 4? I don't even know if it matters that much. It's 2 damage off lethal.
If he does Black Knight and Mark a lot, he can also innervate the Harvest Golem as well. And just kind of push out his hand. And then he has 8 damage as well, so... with
feel like
Swipe and the Druid
I
of the Claw.
just feel like there's a better use for it. Alright. Well,
I don't
here we
see
go.
another better use for it.
Just for 2 damage, your opponent's at 13.
I think when you're this close to trying to hit your opponent down, I think you gotta really pressure. See, you just use the tools that you have. We'll see if it pays off for him, because RDU, he does have Ragnaros Faceless and Black Knight, but he needs kind of to figure out a way he can piece everything together.
That's not a bad draw right now.
Yeah.
Gosh, RDU
he
is
could
getting
clear.
so low on HP.
Clear
He
and
takes
play
his damage.
Ragnaros.
Well, hang on. If he takes 4 damage, he's going to fall down to 9, and it'll go back up to 11, and then Gnimsh has got 9 points of damage. So something like
Oh, you
Savage Roar could actually end the game here.
Well, assuming that RDU is going to board clear and maybe play Ragnaros this turn, but...
Yeah, I think a better play is to attack the Azure Drake into this, like what he's looking at. Attack the Azure Drake into the 4/5, clear this, and then Whirlwind. And then he's... Oh, and then this is Ragnaros.
Yeah, I
then
thought
this
he was going to play Rag this turn.
This is actually really bad news for RDU. This is one of the turns that Gnimsh needed to happen, is because this 8 damage on his face is so irrelevant right now, and now he gets to develop his 4/2 and kill a Ragnaros. So he's not having the threat of Ragnaros hit one of his minions at this point.
Whoa! Wait. Does he have it?
4,
No,
8. He's 2 damage short.
He's 2 damage short, but with this Druid of the Claw and the BGH, he does have a way to respond to this and develop his board, like you said. The problem is he definitely has to put this in charge mode, because if for some reason he puts it in taunt, that BGH swings it right back.
I cannot imagine a single scenario that you would want to be taunting right now. It's a third of your opponent's health.
But if he does, for some reason, because again, the Gorehound is a lot weaker, maybe he can't push through it. That could be his rationale, but he absolutely should charge it at this moment.
I 100% agree.
Where shall I strike?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go. And now pushing in for the final moments.
This is really tough. He needs to draw
RDU needs
Straza.
Alex Straza.
Yep.
Attack, and then bounce yourself back up to 15. Oh my goodness!
Oh my gosh!
Of course he does, and this series is still alive, or this game is still alive, rather. Now, if Gnimsh still top decks a Force of Nature, it's still over, but for one more turn at least, RDU has guaranteed himself Sanctuary. Let's see what Gnimsh is going to top deck.
Ancient Allure, that's a good one.
Hmm.
Hang on a second, has he got to worry about Gnimsh now?
Well, he does have 12 damage right now, 13. He has 13 damage at the moment.
But look
He
at...
does have to be mindful that he might die on the flip side.
Yeah, because if your opponent's got
He
Gnimsh
top decks
and
Gnimsh.
Taskmaster,
That's 23. So then you do heal with the Ancient of Lore and then just hope for the best? Really?
no, I mean, he's considering it, but I think at the end of the day, you have to draw the cards. Because you want to finish your opponent, and you're so close, and your opponent, and like, RDU's been struggling the whole game to kind of keep the board at bay, that if you continue to do this, it's like, this is the one turn where you can die, and that's it. But if you heal for 5, you're just going to run out of steam.
You're basically top decking. Whoa, a healing touch.
Waits for no one.
Okay.
Oh, I think you healing touch yourself.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
If you were
already used Alex Strasser.
Yeah, if you were worried about Gnimsh, then this puts you way out of range of that.
So this is really not the token druid whatsoever that we thought Gnimsh had it originally.
We had Argent Squires, did he not?
I believe. I mean, we've seen so many druids. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. But at this point, I'm just going by my.
It's got to be a standard druid list. He's Cairn in here. It's got to just be like a stock druid list.
Yeah,
I don't. And we've just seen so many tokens that we think it's the other one. Wow, he drew shield block, by the way. That's a really important draw at this point. Oh my gosh, he lost
again.
Board.
If he gets this Force of Nature, Gnimsh is back in this series, and he's pretty deep into his deck.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
that is a huge draw.
That is game over right here. Gnimsh is still in the series. And RDU will have to play another deck in order to close it out and earn his ticket to the winner's bracket finals. RDU is not happy about that.
That is a brutal loss.
From the very get-go.
Unbelievable.
He's from the very beginning of the game, he's been under much pressure with it. RDU can close it out here and Gnimsh start the comeback train.
Choose to go with handlock. I like it.
Wait! Oh, wait. It's not the handlock.
This is Zoo.
That's my bad. It's a Zoo.
With Void Terror.
We did not see RDU. We didn't see RDU's Warlock deck, right?
I'm almost positive we didn't see it. But, you know, I want to talk a little bit about Void Terror, since this is a card we've seen in every single Zoo lock so far. This is a card that is functioning with exactly how your deck wants to pan out. You have a bunch of small minions that are vulnerable to board sweeps, and you have cards like Haunted Creeper and Nerubian Egg that you need to get activated to get value out of them. And the way you get value out of them, ironically, is by them dying. So a card like Void Terror does that exact job, except it filters that power and that health into that one minion. So this one giant threat can loom over the board, while at the same time you've gotten value from cards like Nerubian Egg and the Haunted Spider. Like imagine turn 2 Egg and a turn 3 Void Terror. Now you have 7 points of power on the board and 9 points of health. That's a monstrous board to be facing down on turn 3.
I think so, but what about a monstrous turn 4 play with Cairn, and then turn 5 Azure Drake?
You know, that's okay as well, you know?
That's all right, you know?
It's all right.
As Trump would say, that's above average.
It's above average, just slightly. Ever so slightly above average.
All right, well, get ready, RDU, because a big daddy is coming. And that's the whole point. You know, a lot of players for a while thought that they could play against Zoo by outvaluing them. You know, you don't necessarily have to always have these big taunters, but if you can kind of dictate the battle terms in a way where they're obviously probably going to go face because they don't want to just trade and give your minions Wind Fury and give it a lot of value. But
look at this, he's going to kill you. Wait, is he going to? Oh, he's just going with the face. Oh, respect.
Much respect from that.
Yeah, I love that. Anytime I think someone's going to kill a minion, I'm like, he could kill a minion, which isn't bad. And then they just go straight to the base. I'm like, yes! Just start punching. Look, here's all I'm saying. If you get in a fight with someone and they're punching you and you're not punching them back, you're going to lose. That's the way fights work, right? It's whoever punches, right?
Yeah, I guess. I guess that makes sense. How could I not have thought of that earlier? Gnimsh chooses to kill off this Dark Iron Dwarf, which represents 4 power. I kind of would have liked to take out... Oh my goodness. I think I would have also liked taking out the Direwolf Alpha, but I can understand.
2, 4...
Let's see. How much damage does he have? He's got
16. Oh my gosh, he has 18 damage!
What?
He is 1 damage off lethal. Yeah, 2.
He's... Oh my god, he's 1 damage off lethal!
This is unreal.
Well, it's kind of real because it's happening right before our very eyes.
New breed of Zoolock, by the way.
So, Gnimsh needs a full board clear at this very moment, which feels almost impossible.
I fight.
Well, he needs a full board clear and he needs to be able to survive. But he does have to swipe in his hand. I see it now.
Yep.
So there's a way to do this. There definitely is a way to do this.
Yep. If RDU plays the second spider here, it's a lot harder to board clear. But you still can get it done.
No,
This
he
draw
has
is
the-
so important.
He has the swipe and the hero power, so he just clears,
I don't think it
kills,
lives
and then
his turn.
swipes.
Oh, he's got spell power. No,
Yeah,
that
he's
doesn't even
got
matter
swipe.
because then the 4 spiders come out.
Yeah, so you just swipe the face.
Oh wait,
Obviously, there's no.
Duh, the extra spell power is going to kill the wolf. I'm stupid.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, Admirable. Hit the divine shield.
For the wild.
Also kill off the other spiders. Kill off the other spiders. There we go. And then swipe the face. And then all of a sudden, you do have taunts to kind of back it up in the following turns.
This
So all of a
completely
sudden,
turned the game.
all of the sudden, he's got it.
Oh my gosh!
Put this apple on your head.
So
I can't believe he's taking
gonna
it
damage
so hard.
himself. And then wait, he's got Force of Nature as
Wait a minute.
well.
8 plus
So-
6. It's 6
That's-
plus 8. That's
Wait,
what
wait,
you
oh,
damage.
he's got it. He's got it right there. The Force of Nature ends the game.
This game has been.
So now we're going to game number 5. Right there, Gnimsh has lethal. Now he just has to see it. He just has to see it.
Oh my gosh! Does he not see it?
No, he's just counting, making sure. Gnimsh, you got this, buddy. Hover it to the left. No, not that one. There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Got it. All right, so we're going to game number 5, and RDU will have to rely on his final deck, which is a Druid. So we're going to be playing a Druid Mirror and finding out what's going to happen. Of course it does. It's been a great day of games where we've had lots of series go to game number 5.
You can
Sure.
like, actually play now.
Playing for the value, and it wasn't a good thing he didn't listen to me. Now we're going to game number 5 to determine everything. Druid versus Druid. Some say that this is one of the most pure mirror matches in all of Hearthstone because it's just usually minion trading and board positioning and basically a lot of the core concepts of Hearthstone.
RDU's the one playing Token Druid. That's where we were confused to start with.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. Game is ready, so let's go into the last game of this series. It's been one hell of a day number 1.
I agree, Jake.
That's a brutal. He mulliganed away the healing touch and then drew the healing touch on his first turn. That is not a card you want in your opening hand. Oh, and Savage War is not making this any better. This is looking really bad for Gnimsh to start.
Yeah, his opponent also has Innervate with Power of the Wild and Violet.
He's got Coin, Violet Teacher, Innervate, Power of the Wild on turn 3. This is really bad news. And Mark of the Wild. Oh my gosh.
Okay. It's looking pretty bad already for Gnimsh.
Oh. This is painful to watch. Well, I mean, what can you do about
Not if you're an RDU fan.
I just mean if this is happening to RDU, it'd be painful to watch. It's just like it's a Druid player with nothing to do on turn 1, 2, 4, 3,
Lord.
4, 4. Oh no!
I'm ready.
Oh
This
gosh!
is disgusting. Oh my lord.
I'm ready to learn.
I don't know how you get out of this. This is really bad.
RDU already has a Savage Roar, by the way, so he's got like his finisher already set
I'm ready
on how he wants to do this.
Gosh. How on earth does Gnimsh get out of this one?
Well, Innervate. Huh. As if that's supposed to change anything.
He's still gonna have 6 power on the board, even if he swipes and innervates the Wrath.
But at least that's what you can do from now, right? And see what you go from there. At this point, you're not really trying to save any kind of cards. You're at a big card advantage already, so you kind of just have to address what you have on the board.
Okay, so it's crazy playtime. We're in desperate mode, right?
Yeah.
Is there merit to marking his Violet Teacher and then Black Knighting it next turn?
Oh my god. Innervating out of Black Knight in response.
This is really bad.
No, stop it, Admirable. We're not going there, okay?
He's just got to draw second swipe, I think.
I think so. Now, RDU, he does have 6 damage in response. And this is kind of similar to Savish versus RDU. If you kind of can think back along the clock. Oh my god, he has combo already. Remember how Savish kind of started off this fast against his opponent as well. And then RDU was the one kind of, staying, keep playing keep away. And then he managed to finish out. But the difference is RDU does have the finisher in his hand already.
Ooh, Keeper. This can kind of help.
Safeguard the
You gotta silence it. Yeah, you have to silence the spider. And RDU's just got all the answers too.
RDU RDU's got the swipe. He's got second swipe.
He's got
Is there
plays for days.
anything else he needs at this point? He's just. He just
I
needs to
think
pick up second innervate and
he
just
could-
put Gnimsh out of his misery.
He could just like not draw cards for the rest of the game and win.
Well, assuming his opponent doesn't have something like, Ancient of War coming.
Right. Okay,
something
so
that-
Gnimsh can actually start putting something together here now.
Mhm.
He's got Healing Touch, which is gonna kind of put him back into the health race, and he can start chewing apart these 2-1s. But is that going to be enough? And
Is
I
it
don't
too
think
late?
it is.
He's at 16 health.
I think it
And
is.
even though he recovers 8, he's going to be taking still some back.
This is brutal. Okay, so you heal yourself for 8. You attack one of these 2-1s. You heal yourself for 5 the next turn. And then you hope that Mark of the Wild can bring you back into it.
Okay. It sounds like a plan, which before then, I had no idea how Gnimsh was going to come up with anything to do. It was just like Savage Roar into the token, I guess, right? Like, there's nothing else he could do in this position. I like that play proposal, though.
If he doesn't,
Because then what if he plays his own Ancient of Lore right on the... He doesn't have it in this turn.
also
so
have to
next
consider if RDU, he's got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's got 17 damage next turn, so he's got to heal. Like, not that he knows his opponent has 17 damage, but he's certainly worried
Right.
his opponent's Savage Roaring right now.
Yeah, and it's just more mana efficient to play this anyway, since you know you have to go for the clear. Well, that's just another person to...
That's honestly not even that bad of a draw
annoying.
right now. It's just
Yeah.
the stuff that sticks on the board. Oh, he's only got 6 mana. He couldn't have had
Yeah.
that play that I said. Forgive me.
Okay. No worries. All right, Gnimsh. Well, he gets a Yeti. That would have been nice, like, 7 turns ago. So at least be able to build a game plan of how he's going to be able to use everything else. But
Right.
I think the Ancient of Lore does come out here. Oh, he could also Yeti Hero Power,
I think
now that I think about it.
Yeti Hero Power is slightly better.
Yeah. Take pressure off.
Because then you could potentially mark in Black Knight a powerful minion, and then hope to restabilize by attacking his minions down with your 4/5s and healing for 5 more.
Yeah. And then kind of use the heal as a way to bait your opponent into making a decision which you can kind of put him out of range. Or out of reach, rather.
I can't believe he's still in this game.
Alright, well, he's going to go for this alternative play instead. I mean, he's in this game, but at the same time, RDU still has
Oh my gosh, he draws an
the
ancient.
prime way to finish it off. Wow, he draws an Ancient of Lore himself. He doesn't even need it, but he has it.
Swipe.
In case things kind of get Ari where he needs to kind of reload, he has it. The answer right there.
Yep. He considered using Keeper there, but I think it's better to save Keeper in case your opponent has like Ancient of War.
Yeah, definitely. You want to get through these taunts. That's like the only way your opponent can really stabilize at this point.
I think this turn is an example, by the way, of why it was so important to chew through this 2-1, is because now he's sort of losing control of the board. Like if he had this Yeti down, this Yeti would have gotten torn apart, but RDU would have 1 less minion. Oh my gosh, he draws Innervate. That's lethal. And that's game over. With 1 simple draw, RDU ends it on the back of an explosive start with Violet Teacher.
Wait, damn it, I missed it. I just dropped out of the call.
Oh, you just missed the lethal. He drew it. He
I
ripped
come
Innervate.
back and it's like, well played. What? What just happened? Did he draw an Innervate? Is that
Drew
what happened?
Innervate for the turn.
Oh, man.
Un
God.